Thank you so much, Cedric, for joining us here at the Dwellynn Show. I super really appreciate your time. I'm your host, Ola Dentist. How's it going, Cedric?
It's going great, Ola. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me onto the podcast. I'm excited to reach out and talk with all the listeners today.
Fantastic. I'm sure the Dwell listeners are really excited to hear your story likewise. So, Cedric, I want you to kind of just open the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your little brief journey into the real estate investing game.
Yeah. So I'm here. I'm living in Northwest Washington, north of Seattle, Washington. If any of you guys are familiar with that, and I'm new into entrepreneurship. I really kind of was working the whole workforce, doing the whole 9-to-5 full-time job thing, and really just kind of feeling unfulfilled. And one day I decided to hop into entrepreneurship, and I started reading and researching, and ultimately opened up a marketing agency, and did that for a little over a year. I was kind of dipping my toes and getting my feet wet within entrepreneurship and running my own business. And then as of a few months ago, I actually ended that venture, and I just recently decided to get into real estate investing. So me and a buddy of mine, a partner of mine, are going into wholesaling, and we've been doing that now for almost 2 months, and it's been great.
Thank you so much for that background. So there's a lot of things I want to break out. So you're relatively new in the real estate investing game, and that's what I love, right? That's why I reached out to you on Instagram, and that's why I really wanted to share your story. So, and also to add on top of that, there's a lot of people I meet, at meetups, or they reach out to me and say, hey, Ola, I want to get a sit down with you. I want to pick your brain. And one constant theme is people jump into the game, but they never actually play. Right. So they're either sitting on the benches or they're just so scared, right, to jump right into the real estate
Exactly.
investing pool. And you've done that. I don't want to say rather quickly, but you've done that, right? But then the other thing that I love about your story is the fact that you had a business, a marketing business that you started, but then you had an epiphany that this is not going as quite as I wanted to, and I'm going to stop and quit. Right? In our generation now, it's all about never quit, keep going, right? But you did quit, right? And you've pivoted, right, into real estate, and you made it work. So you are, if you might not think it, a success story. And I really want us to focus on that. So first and foremost, what was the pain point you were feeling at your 9-to-5? Like, what was that like? Why didn't you like the 9-to-5 life?
It's not that I didn't like it. I mean, having a job and the stability is great, right? But it was the unfulfilling part, being able to go from job to job and not feel fulfilled, and you're doing this monotonous thing every single day, and going home kind of, I don't know, wishing for more in a lot of different ways. And one of my big morals and things that I've always wanted in life is just freedom, and freedom for my day, freedom for my choices and my options in life. And I really feel like you can only really get that when you build something for yourself and really kind of build that type of lifestyle for yourself. So that's what I wanted, and I started researching on how I can make that happen.
I really like that. There's also a very classic quote, right? Freedom is not so free, right? Sometimes people hear freedom and they think, oh, freedom means, if you quit your job, then you're just going to be free and you're going to sit on a beach somewhere and you never have to work, right? Obviously, you know better. So you did get that freedom, the type of freedom most people long for as an entrepreneur. You did start that business, right? How did that journey, how did that happen, right? Some people say just jump in, right? Burn all the boats and get on the island. Did you kind of save your way into it, or did you just quit? How did that work for you?
So, I mean, I worked my way in. I didn't just one day, quit my job and go full force into entrepreneurship. It was obviously a big learning experience, a big learning curve, especially when you're starting your very first business. And, just kind of not weasel my way, but kind of just got my way into it slowly but surely. Started doing the things like the networking, the meetups, and then reading the books and following a lot of people online on social media, and really just trying to replicate what a lot of those people said, and and recognize the patterns. That's what I've really learned it comes down to is so many people are successful in their own right and in different ways. But if you can recognize the similarities between them all and try and do that in your own life, then, you know, you're on the right track. And so that's what I tried to do. And yeah.
Okay, so marketing, right? Were you doing digital marketing?
I was doing digital marketing. I was doing some web development for clients. I was running Facebook advertising as well.
So, you know, I've run a business before, a consulting firm that didn't do well, and I did stop myself. So we can relate on that level.
Okay. Yeah.
So when did you realize that, you know, this effort or this business is not going the way I initially thought it would go? I mean, what are those kind of aha moments that you knew this is not, you know, what you really wanted? And the reason I'm bringing this up is if there's a dual listener listening, you know, fly on the wall in our conversation, maybe they can pattern recognize that in their lives, right? So what were those things that you recognize?
You know, I think the main thing that I recognized was just not being as fulfilled in the work as I thought I was going to be. I thought it was going to be, honestly, in a lot of ways, I thought it was going to be easier than it was, to be honest with everyone. I thought I might be one of those people who's just working from my laptop 3 hours a day, maybe, and doing all of that. But when you first start out, it's not that easy. And I realized, you know, as much as I liked a lot of aspects of the work, a lot of the aspects of the work I didn't really enjoy. And I was working just more in the business than on the business. I'm sure you've heard that a lot. And trying to build and delegate an entire team out took a lot of time, and that takes a lot of money, which I didn't have. I didn't have enough clientele to really, you know, build that infrastructure for a real marketing agency. And that was the biggest thing, was not being fulfilled and working. And I was working round the clock, doing all of the tasks that a team should be doing, but I was kind of in that loophole where I couldn't buy the team with the amount of clients I had. So
It is
it was time
fascinating.
to.
It is fascinating, isn't it? Like you get into a business and then you have some preconceived notions or some assumptions about the business. And then when you're actually in the business, you start to see things that you could never anticipate, right? And you're like,
Exactly.
whoa, you know, I love working hard, but this is not the kind of hard work that I think it would, I think I need to take me to where I want to be, right? You know, I want to work hard and smart, not just work hard and kill myself, right? So I think it's really, really, I could totally relate to your story. So from what you know now, if there's somebody listening in and then thinking of quitting their job to go into real estate, though, not, you know, having a business, what would you say to that person?
If they were looking to go into real estate, I would say, in a lot of ways, I think it's a smart move. From what, you know, I've learned and you know, heard from others, real estate is a really great industry to get into. It's made a lot of successful people. I think more millionaires than any other industry is the real estate industry. So it's a great industry to get into. And, you know, there is a learning curve like with anything else, but if you're willing to kind of seek out the right knowledge and really just take action on what these people are telling you to do, anybody can be successful at it. I didn't have a lick of real estate knowledge going in, and I've learned so much within the past month. And, you know, just seeing momentum happen and different things positive results come my way is really reassuring.
I like the word momentum, right? I really like that because we love momentum. Human beings love progress. You want to see that, okay, what I'm doing is actually giving me, even if it's like really, really small momentum, but you can see movement, right? But my question is, so you obviously stopped that business and then you moved into real estate. You partner with someone. What would you say are the similarities, right, between real estate investing and your previous business? And what are the differences?
That's a great question. A lot of similarities, because at the end of the day, you're still running a business, right? So there's some things that go from business to business that are always going to be hold true. So the two main ones, sales and marketing. You know, when I was running a marketing agency, it was all about sales, going and getting new clients. In this real estate wholesaling, it's all about getting in contact with buyers and sellers. So what's nice is I was able to take a lot of those aspects and a lot of the aspects that I wasn't doing so well in the marketing agency, realize their importance and bring them into this new real estate venture. And so like we're hitting sales very, very hard. We cold call for 2 to 3 hours every single day. And then marketing as well. Marketing is so important. So we're doing things like bandit signs, gonna start getting into some Facebook advertising and stuff like that as well. But you know, sales and marketing are important in any kind of business. So those are two really great similarities. Differences is not really working with clients. Like we work with people, like I guess you could call them customers, but really they're kind of like, you know, people were buying houses from them, buyers were flipping to. And it's much more fulfilling because you're actually helping these people through a life situation a lot of the time. Where with my clients, it was almost like I was still working for somebody, which is something I was trying to get out of with the whole 9 to 5 thing. So it wasn't really suiting me too well.
Wow. I really like the fact that you can actually recognize and really, really know yourself deep down. And I think part of the success recipe is being able to, you know when to exit, right? Know when to quit, and really know yourself as well is also part of that recipe. So I think that's really fascinating that you've really verbalizing these things, and I can just see why you've got to where you're at today, and which is kind of my next question. So you started, you know, real estate investing essentially, right? And I'm sure there was an incubation period, right? Because you partner up with someone. So can you kind of describe the story of partnering, and how did that really help you? And if somebody is trying to replicate what you've done, meaning their first deal,
Yeah.
what can they do from a partner perspective, or maybe insert mentor or coach? Because people call me at the time and say, hey, Ola, I want to meet with you for lunch. And, you know, frankly, I'm already thinking, well, I want to spend lunch with my wife and my baby. So I'm not 100% sure if time spent with you would be a good ROI. Are you really going to do a deal, right? So how do you approach mentors, partners, coaches, or somebody you want to get advice from?
I think it's one, really providing value in some kind of way to that person, right? So whether you're just trying to like sell yourself and really convince this person to help you and give you their knowledge, like you have to be able to come from a point of, one, I think humility is a big place you need to come from. Like a lot of us want to go and seek help and advice from these other people, but we don't want to admit that we're actually seeking their advice. Like humble yourself and really come from a place of humility and a place of wanting to learn, and then at the same time tell that person that you have, you know, X and Y to offer and value, whether you're coachable, whether you're loyal, whether you're going to help bring them some money in the future. Really come from that kind of place. And in regards for a partner, I don't think having a partner is right for everybody, but for somebody like me, it was the perfect situation. I was in the marketing agency. I was doing it solo. And then now having a partner in this real estate venture, it's really beneficial to me. It keeps me accountable. You know, when you're by yourself, sometimes you can slack on things or hold off on certain things, and it's okay because you're only hurting yourself. But when you have a partner involved, you tell yourself, if I'm messing up, then it's not only affecting me at this point. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people, is that accountability. That helps.
That is such a good one. That is such a good one. Having an accountability partner to hold you accountable to what you were supposed to do, because you're not just affecting yourself, like you said, you're affecting somebody else, and then you're affecting somebody else's family, and you know, the circle gets bigger, right? That's a really good one. So now you're in the game, right? And now you have to get your first deal, right? What was that process like in getting your first deal? And I want us to talk tactics, right? What does that process, you know, there's a lot of people who say wholesaling, you know, flipping contracts. What did that process look like for you?
So the process, I mean, first off, it was finding the seller, right? So before I even really get into it, like the deal isn't completely done. We're still looking to close with the buyer, but you know, we still have a few more weeks on that. But yeah, just finding the seller was the first point. And actually I found this deal on Craigslist. So Craigslist, going for the for sale by owner ads, and found this great house. And after that, it was finding out the seller's information and trying to build rapport with them. So gave this gentleman a phone call, and basically sat with him on the phone, tried to figure out his situation and how, you know, my partner and I were able to help his situation if we were able to. So that's the main thing, is when you're dealing with these sellers, like building rapport, really trying to figure out not just what they want to sell their house for, but why they're selling their house. And then if you can help them in that process, because a lot of these people, like I mentioned, are going through some kind of, you know, life scenario. Like this gentleman in particular was looking for a retirement place. His dad was going to move in with him, and he wanted to put a down payment down to find a place to retire. So really like digging that out of them, because every transaction is attached to emotion, right? So if you can build on that and bring that emotion out in people you're dealing with, it's so much easier to negotiate, to connect, and get deals done. And then, you know, we got to view the property. We did a quick MAO equation on the property, and we figured that we could offer him upwards of 400,000. He was asking 382 for his lower offer, and we were actually competing with another guy who had offered him the same thing, but he was stalling on the contract situation. So he took our offer as a secondary offer and said if the other guy didn't work out, he would give us a call. And literally we got a call the next day saying that he wanted to go with us. So we went back down there, and we signed the contract and got it under contract. So
fantastic. Congratulations. You know, that's like the momentum you mentioned, right, of the first deal, right? Typically you've got this first deal done, you know how it works, well, almost, and then you just kind of go like clockwork, right? So if I'm a youngish person, and I'm kind of eager to get into wholesaling, right? I want to start my journey in the real estate game. Couple of questions. What was the one thing that really helped you? I mean, you mentioned Craigslist, like who would have ever thought, right? What was that one attribute or trait that allowed you to get that first deal? Secondly, do you think it's necessary to have a real estate license?
So the first thing, I think the most absolute aspect that really helped us was where we were seeking our knowledge, right? We weren't just going across the internet and grabbing pieces of information from everywhere. We really just have like 2 core sources of knowledge, and we just try to implement what those people tell us. And the first one, I say everyone should go look up Max Maxwell. Type his name in on YouTube. He's a fantastic wholesaler. He's gained so much exposure in such a short period of time. He's fantastic. And then we were listening to a podcast called Wholesaling Inc. That podcast is great for anyone looking to get into wholesaling. Really, we just slam through the episodes. Really helps you develop the mentality needed and the skills needed and strategies to go make your first deal happen. And then really just taking action and doing it, and know that you're gonna, you know, mess up, but every time you mess up, it's just preparing you for the next time, you know, you come across that in your next deal, because your deals aren't going to end if you keep pushing forward. And then you definitely don't need a real estate license. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I had no real estate knowledge coming into this. This was all YouTube University, Google searches, and really just kind of learning as things are coming up, you know, then you take the time and you learn, and then you keep pushing forward till something else comes up. But don't need a real estate license. You hardly need any real estate background. Just listen to those podcasts, and that'll get you started in the right way, or in the right direction.
So bam, Cedric, you're basically an official wholesaler, right? What's next? Like in 5 to 10 years time, what do you see yourself doing? Do you think you'll be flipping contracts still? You know, do you think you're going to be flipping houses? I mean, what do you see yourself doing?
I definitely see, you know, me and my partner, Pat, we definitely have a vision for taking this real estate thing pretty far. We definitely want to keep going with the wholesaling, and then eventually get into the whole fixing and flipping side, and maybe even buy and hold a few properties in the future. So, you know, five years down the line, I can definitely envision doing some of that, which is exciting. Besides that, I have that entrepreneurial spirit and that entrepreneurial drive inside of me. So, 10 years down the line, I'll probably also hopefully have a few other ventures I'm working on. I'd love to get into the nonprofit space. I'd love to be doing some mindset and self-development training and stuff like that. Maybe some consulting in the future, but that's years down the line. So we're just taking it one step at a time right now.
I like that. I like that. I'm all about mindset. I love that. Before we actually go into the quick runs, I wanted to go back real quick. So on your first deal, I know you're concluding that. Can you quickly tell us the numbers? I know you said it was 382 and what you wanted, it was 400. Just tell us the numbers.
So basically we got it for 382. We're expecting a $50,000 repair cost. And then the ARV, the after repair value on that, guys, upwards of 570. So pretty decent profit margins. And then this was our very first deal. So we're really just kind of looking to get in really quick. So we're actually selling it for about 390. So hopefully make a quick little 8K on that deal.
Fantastic.
And then, yeah, we got another bigger one in the pipeline. So hopefully we land that in the next few weeks too.
Sure, you guys will. So I wish I can keep going on, but we definitely dwelling into the quick round. So these are going to be quick questions, quick answer. You ready, sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First question. What makes you, Cedric, unique? What is that differentiating factor that separates you from the next girl or the next guy?
Oh man, I think, I'm humble, and I think I genuinely, I think, care about the well-being of other people. I love helping people, and I love, motivating them.
You're in the right business. Second question. What was the last book that you read? What was the one thing that you picked up from that book?
So last book I read was Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's the second time I've read it. All about negotiating, and really, one thing is you learn that when negotiating, people are driven off of emotions, not logic. So you got to remember that. You always got to strike with emotion and come from a non-logical place, because that's how people make buying decisions.
Oh, I love that so much. That's a good one. That book comes up a lot actually on this show. Final question. So you've obviously doing, pretty well in the real estate investing game. You're doing your mindset stuff. I've seen some of you on Instagram. Great job. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Honestly, a lot of this stuff is fun for me, so it does keep me occupied. But I have a little puppy. I spend a lot of time with him when I can. We go on walks and stuff like that. I'm a big football guy as well, so when I get the chance, I'll meet up with my buddies at a bar or something, grab a drink, watch a football game. But yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So if I'm a Dwell listener and I'm listening on our conversation and I'm like, I really like this Cedric guy, I want to connect with him on Instagram, I want to follow his stuff, how can people reach out to you? How can people get connected with you?
Yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram. I'd love to connect with, all of your listeners. You can find me Cedric, CEDRIC, Andrew, and then the number 16. I'm always active on Instagram. That's a great place to find me. Also Facebook as well. It's the same name tag, Cedric Andrew 16. And connect with me on there. Send me a DM.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Cedric. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I cannot thank you enough for actually taking time out to come and talk to our listeners today. Thank you so much.
Hey, Ola, thank you so much again for having me. It was so great. I wish we had 30 more minutes to talk, man. You're an awesome host. Thanks for having me.